Well now, happy birthday to me. Elijah Everett Whitley here. You know, it seems just like last century when I left my job at Winburn's Mill to volunteer in the Confederate Army in 1862. And of course, my return from the Civil War is why you folks have been meeting like this for 148 years. Now I've got to say, that's some kind of party. But it's important for y'all to know that the Whitley family reunion is not all about me. Fact is, the Whitley heritage we celebrate today started long before me. Now I know all you children just got out of school, but sit still for a while longer and let me tell you a story. It's hard to say exactly when and where it all began, but we know it had something to do with the goings-on in England before the first Whitley ever set foot on American soil. Way back during the 1600s, King James I was not your most popular ruler. Not only that, he was ugly. He had a little feeble, rickety body, his tongue was too big for his mouth, and he had these big old Google eyes. On top of all that, he started carrying on about the divine right of kings and how he got his right to make laws for the people directly from God himself. Well, I can tell you, that must have got a good number of God-fearing people in an uproar, which in turn got churches to splitting up and whatnot. Now stay with me just a little while longer. His son, Charles I, was no better, and by the time he was ready to turn the throne over to his son, Charles II, the people of England were ready for any kind of change. But history would show us that the worst was yet to come. Charles II had no love for his country, no sense of duty, no belief in man, and no respect for women. During the first years of his reign, a lot of people like John and Thomas Whitley just threw up their hands and said, "Enough's enough." They left England and settled in this country in Isle of Wight County, just a short distance from where the courthouse stands today. It was here they changed the spelling of their name from Wheatley to Whitley. Now why'd I tell y'all about the Kings? Because I wanted you to see that the Whitleys were just like the Washingtons, Jeffersons, Adams, and hundreds of other families that were looking for a better way of life in their religion and politics. You see, we were a part of this great country's Declaration of Freedom that we also celebrate on July 4th. So now back to me. I too was born on the 4th of July. Now I don't know how our people came to settle around Winburn's Mill. They say the Baptists, Methodists, and Quakers that settled on the south side of the James River were the poor people, while the wealthy stayed on the north side. So I reckon it was because we were poorer than the poor as to why we settled even further south and started planting fields around here. And poor we were, but a resourceful bunch, I'd have to say. While we were so poor, we poked holes in the tops of old snuff cans to make salt and pepper shakers, used wild plants around us for hair coloring and to dye clothes, wicks for lamps, and every liniment you could imagine for whatever ailed you. While we used dried up gourds for everything from sewing baskets to gathering eggs to dipping up water from the spring or well. We did what we could with what we had, and the most important thing we had was each other. So I've got to tell you, that was sure tough leaving behind my wife and 3 young children to fight for my beloved homeland. Let me share just part of a poem that reflects my thoughts on leaving home and family for the Civil War. Come sit by my side, Mary Eliza, and listen to what I say. There's an aching in my bosom that just won't go away. This thing called the Civil War is a sin inspired by man, and I don't believe deep within my heart that it's according to God's plan. It's amazing to see what men have gained from the muscle of the blacks. But from now on, Mary Eliza, the South could be set back. The drums are beating out the sounds. Oh, come and join today. Let us get on with the fighting, boys, then come back home to stay. Ben, Henry, Jesse, and Frank to Murfreesboro are bound to enlist in the Confederate Army, and those Yankees chase like hounds. Elisha, come with us, said they, as they passed me at the gate. This is serious business, and please don't hesitate. I don't want to be a coward, and you, love, I hate to leave. To think I may never see you again, my heart is sorely grieved. Should I return, we'll carry on, but if it be my lot to die, I'll meet you and the children up in our home on high. Wherever I may go, my love, faithful I will be, thinking of you and longing your lovely face to see. Come hold me in your arms as I say goodbye for a while. Whisper to me that you love me, and wipe the tears from my eyes. Down this troublesome road I must be going, if today I am to fall in foul. I'll be carrying you and the children with me over every dusty and lonely mile. Goodbye, my love, goodbye. Now, I want y'all to know that those weren't exactly my words. They were written in 1981 on my birthday by my great-grandson Roland Whitley, but I couldn't have said it better myself. And praise Jesus, it was a glorious day when I returned home to my New Hope community to my wife and 5 young children. Now, I already see some of y'all counting up on your fingers. Let's see. He left 3 children and came back to 5. So I guess I need to point out that we did get a furlough now and then before I was discharged in '63. Answering my country's call of duty, I re-enlisted and served right up to the end of the Civil War. That was May in 1865 when I journeyed home for the last time. Now, it was my sister's idea to throw a big party to celebrate my homecoming, but there was no time for such a thing. By the time I got home, the crops hadn't even been planted, so I had to get busy in the fields to prepare for a family that would eventually grow to 9 children. So they waited till my birthday, July 4th, to throw the best party you've ever seen. There was singing and playing and all the victuals you could eat. Poke salad, mustard greens, wild strawberry, blackberry, and huckleberry cobbler, root tea and possum, quail, squirrel, rabbit, and venison. Not to mention the pot liquor, cornbread, and persimmon cookies. It was such a grand event, I insisted we should do it again and again and again. And each year just got better and better. We Whitleys also turned out to be a wondering bunch. I can't think of another family where so many were born in one state, married in another, and buried in still another. We've also wandered through different family names, whether you're a Drake, Edwards, Holland, or Worrell. You're a Whitley if you were born one, or if you just came here today with one. While we've even adopted a preacher or 2 along the way to share in this happy tradition. It can be a sad day, too, for those of you reminded of all us loved ones who have gone on to our eternal rest. But while we may be gone, we are not separated from you. It gives us joy that you see fit to honor your ancestors by being here today to recall our heritage. It's happened through telling our story from generation to generation. So whether you heard it in your grandma's kitchen, from across a picnic table at Winburn's Mill or the Franklin Hunt Club, through reenactments, or this fancy gizmo called video and the internet, know that you are fulfilling a commitment to learn from each other, a process through which our heritage becomes reality and our legacy lives on forever. So there you have it, the story of how all you, my great-great-grandfamily, carries on one of America's longest-running reunions. So go on and don't let me stop you. I want you to party like it's 1899.